Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selections here for March 18th. So far, just to recap what happened yesterday, we had another winner with Georgia State covering the spread against UT Arlington in the Sun Belt Championship game, which pushes our record on this show to 8-3 overall, all at lines of -110. And so far for conference tournaments season, just to recap so far how we've done, extremely solid stuff. Can't really complain about being 8-3. However, the one thing that's better than 8-3 would obviously be 9-3, which is what we look to do for our next couple of plays as the NCAA tournament, as well as the NIT and some other tournaments start to take place. However, just to mention, there is going to be a slight scheduling change going on here since I'm providing exclusively college basketball plays during this show, and there are no college basketball games on March 18th. I figured that I would provide a play for Tuesday on Monday's video. And then I have a special treat for everybody. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live streaming sometime in the afternoon, and I will be giving a full preview and prediction of my version of March Madness and my bracket. So just to clarify, since there are no games on Monday, I will be giving a pick for Tuesday, specifically in the Belmont and Temple first four game on Tuesday night today. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be giving you my entire college basketball bracket and trying to break down as many first-round matchups as I possibly can. And I'm also going to be open to the comment section where I'll be addressing some games that some of you, the loyal listeners here who have enjoyed my content so far, all of you will be able to ask me questions, and I'll be able to answer as many as possible to help pretty much just dive right into this March Madness experience, as you have a ton of games, which now you have to handicap, and all the lines are coming out, and it's a very exciting time and probably the best time, in my opinion, in sports. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow for probably about an hour or so, just covering all the games, what I think about them, and who I think will be lifting the trophy at the end of the college basketball season. But I'm going to be doing that tomorrow, so we are going to get into the pick for March 18th or March 19th in that aspect, considering the fact that the game is going to be on the 19th. We are going to be taking Belmont -3.5 versus Temple. The line originally was at 3 and even 2.5 in some spots, but the line has jumped dramatically, and we believe that it is for a good reason, as this line will most likely continue to go up to roughly 4 by tip-off. Now, just to mention briefly, the game is in a neutral site in Ohio, so there shouldn't be much of a home court advantage for either team. So that's important to mention, as it will be played in the Dayton Arena. Now, to recap both teams on the regular season, Belmont is 26-5, and they were 16-2 in conference play, and they ended up losing in their conference title game to Murray State, as they were one of the last 4 teams to get in due to their high quality of work outside of conference play, while Temple struggled a little bit towards the end of the season, ended up at 23-9 and 13-5 in conference play. Now, just to address some quick trends between these two teams as they will look to actually enter the full field of 64. The Belmont Bruins, just some trends. They're 4-0 ATS in their last 4 games following an ATS loss. They are 5-1-1 ATS in their last 7 games overall. They're also 4-1 ATS in their last 7 games overall, and they're 4-1 in their last 5 games versus a team with a winning straight-up record, while the Temple Owls are 1-4 ATS in their last 5 non-conference games. Now, the main reason, as I like to do on this program, I like to provide you a statistical edge, which has definitely played a factor so far in the last couple of games, specifically with Harvard and Penn's disparities in free throw shooting, as well as Georgia State and UT Arlington's disparity from the three-point line. Those two help cash, and I feel like there's a huge differential between these teams, and it actually involves field goal percentage, similarly to, this disparity is relatively huge. Belmont this season is shooting 49.7% from the floor, which a lot of people don't realize Belmont is this offensive juggernaut, but that it has been. It's 4th in the country. They're the 4th highest field goal percentage in the entire country at roughly 50%, where Temple is shooting 43.9% from the floor, which ranks 183rd. Temple significantly worse and more inefficient from the floor. Belmont should be able to get whatever they want offensively. They're very unselfish. And the thing about Temple is that the 43.9% largely stems from their best 2 players in Alston Jr. as well as Rose. Both of them, they're high volume shooters. Yes, they're great guard play, but Quinn Ross in particular, he chucks the ball a lot, and I know that's carried Temple to a 23-9 record, but he's been pretty inefficient. They don't have much depth in the scoring, and I can see Belmont wearing this team down. Belmont is extremely solid. They're extremely well-rounded, and I'm not going to criticize them too much for losing to Murray State in the conference championship game based on the fact that their starting center, whose name is Nick Muzinski, he did not play in that game against Murray State. His status is uncertain at this point in time, or he's out indefinitely, quote unquote. There has been some rumor that he will be playing in this game, and his presence will definitely be extremely important for this game as he will help on the rebounding edge, considering the fact that he is averaging 14.9 points per game and 5.9 rebounds while shooting over 60% from the floor. He's a huge player for that team. I think he's going to be playing, but there is not much certainty there. But the line going up this early makes me believe that early indications show he will be playing. But Belmont will have the best player on the court. It's not even close, in guard Dylan Windler, who's been tremendous. He's averaging a team-high 21.4 points per game. He's a 6'8" guard, but he's averaging 10.7 rebounds per game. He can do whatever he wants offensively. He's over an 84% free throw shooter, shoots 43% from three, shoots over 54% from the floor, and he only turns the ball over roughly 2 times a game. He's a tremendous all-around player. I think he has a future in the NBA as a potential second-round draft pick, and I think that he will have a tremendous game. I don't think Temple's going to have many answers. Temple, although that they've had some NCAA tournament history in recent years, they haven't really done much with it, and I think this Belmont team is just an absolute force to be reckoning with offensively. And Temple's a good defensive team. I don't think they're going to have any answers for Belmont. Belmont's very unselfish. They run a lot of motion offense, and they're averaging, according to ESPN, 87.4 points per game, and they're averaging over 38 rebounds per game, roughly 39. I think Belmont's too well-rounded. I don't think Temple has enough weapons, and I would not be surprised to see Rose and Alston struggle with their efficiency again, as they have done throughout the entire season. So that's going to do it for this installment of Scott Selections for March 18th. Just a reminder, I will be having a live stream with statsalt.com and the YouTube channel here tomorrow, where I will be covering my entire bracket and specifically the first-round games and discussing some early line movements, and that should be coming up sometime in the early afternoon. If you are new, just to remind everybody to like and subscribe for the content that I've been providing daily, and I will continue to be doing in the future. It's also important to note that StatSalt has their own betting guide, which I helped co-create, which I will post a link in the description below just for some quick tidbits and some advice just overall on some trends and stuff to try to avoid or stuff you should be doing with regard to trends in March Madness. So that's going to do it for this installment of Scott Selections for March 18th. I hope everybody's been enjoying, had a very nice weekend. It's time to get back to the nitty-gritty, where everybody is going to be in panic mode for the next 2 weeks as they hope their bracket stays afloat. But that's going to do it. I want to wish everybody a good night, and we look forward to providing you with more profit in the future. Have a good day, everybody.